down thy vote!
You heard the rest. Now here's the best. Stay Tuned Sports Podcast.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here, back to give our opinions and reactions to UFC 269. I mean, a lot of stories coming out of that pay-per-view this past weekend. No Notre Dame football this past week, so I was kind of bored this past, Saturday afternoon. Wasn't sure what to do until waiting for the UFC fights to come on. How was everybody else's weekend? I hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you guys tuned in Friday night to the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series over on YouTube, 3Y TV. Another exciting race. 1 week left before the chase starts. This actually will be the last weekend for any drivers to try to get into the chase, and I'll touch on that in a second here. But before we get into a little recap of the Truck Series this past Friday, head over to staytunedsports.net. Follow all our social media accounts. We have the little links on the right hand side there. You just click them, head over, click follow. Make sure your notifications are on, for those, because that's where I'll announce any type of giveaways or possibly any rules, or if you guys want to interact. Sometimes I live tweet with these fights, bare knuckle and UFC and things like that. Also, head over, if you want to show your support for the show, head over to buymeacoffee.com/stsports. Just another way to show your support. I'm probably gonna go on Twitter or Facebook and do like a poll to see what kind of giveaways you guys want to do. So that's why you want to also do go over to Buy Me a Coffee, because that's anything you guys donate there, I put back in as a giveaway. So the more donations or support you guys show, bigger the surprises. And don't forget, we still have our Stay Tuned Sports chat line still up, 612 STS chat. If you want to comment on my about the shows, about how they're going, what I can improve on, I got some things in the pipeline that I'm working out that may bring a old guest back on in the near future. Just gotta work on the logistics of it all. That just that word kind of hurt my head there. But speaking of mind-blowing stuff, definitely if you didn't tune into the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series this past weekend, head over to YouTube on 3Y TV and watch it, because at one point Drew Eisenman and Peter Short had a conversation about where Texas is. Is it considered Southwest, Southeast, Midwest, whatever? And it was mind-blowing. I actually needed some Mary Jane, I think, to understand what they were trying to decipher and decide. But as far as the race, though, you're probably like, Jimbo, if they're talking about that, I mean, was the race that bad? Actually, it wasn't. It was a really good race. Matt Cherry, I thought he was going to pull this one off. Unfortunately, did not. Towards the end of the race there, I believe he got turned, hit the wall and everything. He was up in the top 5 for a while there, but ended up finishing down the bottom. I would even say probably like around 20th or so. But Chris Darling actually won the race. I believe it was the second win of the season, so he already had his championship chase spot locked in. But more wins you get, more points you'll get when the chase really does start happening. And another clean race. They pretty much kept to their average of 3 to 4 cautions. Ended up being only 4 cautions this race. But they are going to Richmond this week for the last week before the chase starts. And looking at the points, so to kind of reiterate how the championship format works, the top 8 drivers are decided by by wins. If you win, you're in. But it's only 8 drivers that have wins are automatically in there. Then it goes by, the tiebreakers are how many most wins get in. But so far, I think there's only 2, maybe 3 drivers that have more than 1 win. But only those drivers are in because of the wins. As far as the 9th and 10th spot is decided by the points, which is I believe Travis White is 10th, and I think Nathan Maurer is number 9. Maurer has a huge lead on Travis White, so he's pretty much locked into the chase. Travis White has a good lead on Matt Cherry. I don't believe Matt Cherry could catch him, and I think the only way Matt Cherry's going to get in is just by a win. Which is kind of funny too, because 2 weeks ago, with our buddy Scott Crump that drives the Stay Tuned Sports truck over on I think it's Sunday nights, he was kind of in the same situation. He needed a win to get in. He was too far back with points. He got the win, but due to a stupid rule, he wasn't eligible for that. He was still eligible to make it on points, and unfortunately didn't have a good race this past Sunday, so he did not make the chase for his league. So that's where Matt Cherry's at right now with the Stay Tuned Sports truck for the Friday nights. He needs a win, and he gets in, and it would be pretty cool to see if he wins in there and gets in there and could win the Stay Tuned Sports truck championship. Going into Friday night's race, though, here's my 3 racers to watch. Obviously, like I said, Matt Cherry. Josh Sobel has been really good all year, just when he got bad luck, or when he gets bad luck, pretty bad luck. He's in the same boat as Matt Cherry, as well as my third one driver is Tristan Maurer. Same situation. All 3 need to win to get in. Maurer, he's been really good, but again, same thing like Sobel. When he is off, it's not a good finish for him. So make sure you guys tune in Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, over on YouTube, 3Wide TV. Make sure you subscribe to them too. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the thumbs up for the video. And make sure you say hi in the chat. I'm always there every Friday. So make sure, Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series, Friday night, over on YouTube, 3Wide TV, 9 p.m. Eastern. So this past week, NCAA sent out a letter to the officials, all the officials, letting them know that a particular play that happened, I believe 2 weeks ago during the ACC championship game, that a certain play has been banned, and that play was because of Kenny Pickett's, the Pittsburgh quarterback, fake slide. So no longer is fake sliding allowed in the NCAA. And if you guys didn't see it, Google it. It's actually pretty funny. He ended up scoring on that play. Faking like he's sliding. He didn't go all the way down. He kind of just drug his foot in a way, and was able to just take off and run the rest of the way. Well, NCAA is worried that if other players do this, that defenders won't slow up from hitting them. They've been being taught that once a ball carrier gives himself up, aka slides, that they cannot hit the ball carrier. So they're afraid that the defensive players won't slow up. They'll go for the hit. And I'm okay with it in a way. It was a pretty cool play. It's smart by Kenny Pickett and any player that tries to do that. But here's my issue. Okay, if you're worried about them not slowing up and hitting them and potentially hurting that player, why is the faking of going out of bounds by a quarterback not banned either? That's no different. How many running quarterbacks, well, I don't want to say running quarterbacks, how many quarterbacks in the NFL and in college have we seen that kind of look like they're going out of bounds, but they're not really, so it's confusing for the defender? I mean, it's the same exact situation, so why is that play not banned as well? Now, there won't be no penalty for it. It'll just be a dead ball once, like with this sliding play. If they show any type of motion of sliding, whether they're trying to do the fake or actually doing it, it's automatically a dead ball. I guess kind of like we see in the NFL, whether you go front, head first or slide feet first. If you're showing that you're giving up, the play's dead. But also like I said, I just don't understand why it's just this play. How many times have we seen quarterbacks fake like they're going out of bounds, or even running backs, and kind of come back in, but then go out and get a late hit penalty? I mean, we're trying to be protective of players, specifically the quarterback, but you gotta make this fair all around. And I think that's another issue, is we're only worrying about really like one position. We're not worried about defensive players, like how they tackle, having your head down and make sure you don't hit him here, but here is okay, but you can't do this. Like, there's so much gray area when it comes to some of these penalties or these rules. Now, as far as this, the slide rule, it came into effect during last Saturday's Army-Navy game. Will be going on during the all the bowl season games, college football playoff, and postseason competition at the FCS divisions 2 and Division 3 levels. Then after the season's done, it will be reviewed, by the NCAA Rules Committee to see if they will implement this further. And I just hope that when it comes to reviewing this, they add in there about the the sideline thing, because that's not fair to any defensive player. That, okay, I gotta start slowing up because he's near the sideline. I gotta worry about him going out of bounds and me not hitting him. But what happens if he comes back in? Defense players shouldn't have questions in their head of this. These players are so much faster, so much bigger, and if they're questioning themselves as the play's going on, someone's going to get hurt, severely hurt. So I think NCAA needs to clean up some of these rules, make it more clear, and hopefully come the off season, NCAA even clears up this whole fake sliding and adding in there about the fake going out of bounds as well. Last Saturday was UFC 269, Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. And I was actually really looking forward to this pay-per-view card. It was a really good pay-per-view card from the start to the end. Started off with Sugar Shane O'Malley knocking out his opponent, Rolling Pavia, and finally officially being ranked, whether we all believe in the rankings or not, which I don't. But he's ranked 13th. He's been clamoring for that. Seeing the upset between Julia Pena and Amanda Nunes. And, I mean, I consider it an upset. I really thought Dustin Poirier was going to pull it off, but Charles Oliveira pulls up the well, in my head, the upset, and choking out Poirier. But some of my reactions to these, I just want to talk about those 3 fights. It's about time Sugar Shane got some respect put on his name, per se. He fought 3 times this year, and all 3 times he knocked out his opponent. And according to a lot of people, this last fight was his toughest, and that was a knock on him leading up to this fight, that he really didn't fight anybody, tough. And he just ran through this guy. I mean, he had all the answers to him. Pavia, he just didn't know what to do with O'Malley. I mean, O'Malley had some good feints. He was doing a lot of his typical stance switches. And I'm not a big fan of this, but it worked for him. I don't like the whole hands down defense. Just because if you get a quick puncher, you can't get those hands up quick enough. You're gonna take a lot of punishment. But also, not just being defensive there, he landed a lot of good strikes with his body kicks and his boxing combinations, and that's what put Pavia away. Now, being ranked 13th, where does this put O'Malley? Who should he fight? I know he said about Jose Aldo would be a dream matchup, but I don't think he's there. I'm not even sure where Aldo's ranked. He might be in the top 5 or so, but I think that's too big of a jump for O'Malley. But, he definitely needs a step up in competition. I know Dana White took, kind of exception to it by saying a lot of these media guys want O'Malley to fight, top 5 guy now, this and that. And Dana White saying, listen, he's not he's not quite there yet. We can't rush somebody that potentially could get hurt if they put him in there with a top 5 guy and say if he's not ready. I mean, that could be mentally bad. If you lose real bad, maybe you can't bounce back from that. The guy I want to see him fight, and I think they're pretty close ranked, is Chito Vera. Try to get that win back. Try to avenge that loss. I'm curious to see if O'Malley can get through him. Now, like I said just a few seconds ago, how a lot of people said that he hasn't fought really anybody tough. My questions have been on him for a couple years now is his durability. When he fought Vera, he lost because he had that nerve damage in his ankle. Now this fight, or these past 3 fights I should say, because he fought Vera last year, these past 3 fights didn't show any damage. So I mean that's who I would like to see O'Malley fight next. It would be Chito Vera. Charles Oliveira defeating Poirier. Like I said, I did not see it coming. I definitely didn't see him getting tapped out. A lot of questions now for Poirier. This is his second time fighting for a championship belt and losing and getting choked out for it. As far as Poirier, I think he needs to move up to 170. He's talked about it. And I think that's kind of on his mind when he's going into these fights at 155. So I don't think he's fully focused. And maybe he's kind of, in a way, kind of bored with the 155 division. Conor supposedly beefing up. He's at 190 now for whatever reason. Maybe Poirier and Conor has the trilogy at 170. I mean, I don't know if you automatically put Poirier in there with a top 5 guy, or if you slowly work him up there. Not too slowly, because I mean he is starting to get older. I think he's like 30 or 32, so you don't want to take years, especially with him coming out saying that he doesn't want to fight as often as some of these fighters like O'Malley 3-4 times a year. But if you do a Conor versus Dustin with them doing a 170 debut for both of them, UFC will definitely make a lot of money. Any fight that Conor's in will make money. Even though he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights, Conor will always be with UFC. He will always be a main eventer just because he knows how to talk, and that's why he sells. So I mean, I think it would be the only logical matchup for Dustin right now is a 170 fight with Conor. As far as Oliveira, even though Conor came out and said he's up next for the 155 belt, which I don't see it. How are you going to lose 45 pounds for a fight? Why would you put all that weight on only to try to get back down to 155? So, I think the fight to make, and Dana White kind of already said they're going to try to do it, is Justin Gaethje. Now that one I think would be a good fight, because the questions would be, can Oliveira duck the punches, the punching power of Gaethje, and can Gaethje keep Oliveira off of him from submitting? So I think that would be a really good fight to watch. Sorry, I had to take a drink there. Yeah, so I think that would be a really good fight to watch. I don't think it'll make a lot of money. A lot of pay-per-views. Just because Oliveira, I just don't think he sells pay-per-views. Leading up to this fight, I know he's not a trash talker. I know Poirier is more of a respectful fighter, unless he's going after Conor. And unfortunately, unless there's bad blood between fighters, a lot of casuals don't want to pay for the pay-per-views to watch it. They want to read, Conor McGregor says Poirier's wife is in his DMs. Joe Schmo's going to see that like, oh my God, he's talking about his wife. He's going to come in and beat his ass and not stop, and the ref's not going to be able to stop. That's how you're going to sell pay-per-views. That's why Conor is so good at selling pay-per-views. Then the co-main event, honestly, I think outshined the main event. Even though the main event was really good, just because of what happened during the co-main event. Julia Pena defeating Amanda Nunes. And I mean, it wasn't no little, ticky-tack, patty cake type fight. They went at it right from the get-go. First round, Amanda Nunes knocked down Juliana Pena, and at the end of the first round, Nunes was smiling at her like, "Yeah, I got your number." But Pena didn't care, and that's what's a tough thing to fight up against, is when you have someone that doesn't care and is willing to get knocked out or get choked out to try and get that win. And I think that was Pena's thinking, was like, you know what? I'll take Nunes' shots, but if I get in close enough, it's gonna be over. And that's pretty much what happened. I mean, second round came out and Pena was able to get close enough and start peppering her with shots and started to rock Nunes, eventually taking her down and tapping her out. Now, I remember seeing Matt Serra versus GSP when Matt Serra knocked him out. And I said at that time, that was the biggest upset ever in UFC, ever in MMA, not just UFC. That's number 2 now, in my head. Pena versus Nunes, that was a big upset. Pena was a very big underdog. Just to show you how big of a favorite Nunes was, a guy put $318,000 on Nunes to win, only to win $25,000. That's how big of a favorite she was. And you know what else too about this whole upset thing and where it ranks? And this is why some of these ESPN stats I think are a joke. According to ESPN stats and information, the Pena upset of Nunes is considered to be the 4th largest. How? I would love to know what 1 and 2 are. Even 3, because again, I think this is the biggest upset, so Sarah and GSP's got to be below this. How is this not the biggest upset ever? And I was afraid going into this that Nunes would get knocked out because she hasn't fought in 2 years. And we see this a lot, where fighters take a lot of time off. Now, granted, she got COVID. She just adopted the baby. A lot of family stuff is going on. I don't think her head was fully there yet. And maybe with this knockout, or this submission loss, it'll wake her up. Once again, a lot of people think UFC lost here with Nunes losing because they were hoping for a Shevchenko versus Nunes fight after this. But a rematch with Pena, I think, will do just as much money if she fought Shevchenko. Because again, let's remember how, when GSP fought Matt Serra the second time, there was a lot of hype going into that one. Like, oh my God, can Serra do it again? Everybody tuned into that one, and obviously Serra got demolished. But everybody tuned in for it. So I could see that happening with Pena. I know, over these past few years, if you guys have been listening, I'm not big on the whole automatic rematch when you get dominated. And I don't want to say Pena dominated her, but that second round was a lot bigger than the first round, I think. With how Nunes fought Pena, I think Pena's second round was a lot bigger. But that's the fight to make. You gotta make that fight business-wise. And, I mean, who else is there to fight Pena? No one really stood out that, okay, Pena, if, when she loses, this girl's next to fight Nunes. So, I think this is the match to make. Pena versus Nunes. I think making my pick right now for that match depends on how quick Nunes comes back. If she takes another year off, I got Pena every time. If she comes back within the next 3, 4, 5 months, I think you're going to see the old Nunes and just run through her. So that's kind of like my reactions to UFC 269 this past weekend. I think there's bare knuckle this weekend. I didn't do my picks this week because I had some stuff going on during the week. But we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we will have our blue picks. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Is something preventing you from achieving your goals? Is there things interfering with your happiness? Check out BetterHelp.com/listener. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. Connect in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not a self-help line. It is professional counseling done securely online. Anything you share is confidential. It's convenient, professional, and affordable. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/listener. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/listener.
Jackson has all day, looking deep for Hollywood Brown again. He's got it. Brown off to the races, and he stays on his feet. Touchdown!
And here is your blue picks of the week, brought to you by Skunk Duck Studios, the best ducking designs on the web. And we are back with our week 15 blue picks. Kind of recap our week 14 blue picks. I went 2-1. So I'm 20-15 on the season. Not too bad. Curious what I was last year. I forgot to write my record down from last year, but just to recap, my blowout pick from last week, I took Chargers over the Giants. Won by 16, but the Giants played a lot better than I expected. I didn't expect them to put up the 20 points or 27, whatever it was, that they put up. But Chargers are just definitely on, and it seems like they're getting ready for the playoffs. And a little side note, I can't believe it's week 15 already. I was doing my picks here, I'm like, holy shit, we only got like 3-4 weeks left. My lock pick last week, I took Tampa Bay over the Bills. I got lucky. I really thought Tampa Bay was going to beat them like 40-3 or something like that. But Josh Allen got that offense to bounce back with the Tampa Bay winning it overtime. I mean, come on, it's Tom Brady. When you put him in a pressure situation, he's going to pull out the win. And then for the upset, I had the Saints, or I had the Jets, just because I really thought the Saints, with how they're using Taysom Hill, would continue to go how they have, how they've been going. Well, they finally learned their lesson because they just destroyed the Jets. Saints finally realized Taysom Hill's not a quarterback. He can't throw the ball 40 times a game. They limited it to, I think, like 20 or so passing attempts. And my other question about the Jets is, does Zach Wilson really suck this bad? Or, once again, is it the Jets? We saw it Sam Darnold, even though he played like shit with the Panthers after the first 5 games or so. So, questions out there. Is it the team or is it these quarterbacks they're drafting? So, as far as this coming weekend's picks, man, I keep hitting my head off my microphone here. My blowout pick, I have the Bills over the Panthers. Bills are giving 11.5. Panthers haven't won since they signed Cam Newton, I believe. So, I mean, I think the end of the road for Cam Newton is coming at the end of the season. I will not be surprised if he retires. We've seen how long it took him to sign with Carolina after the Patriots released him. And he just hasn't been playing good football. I'm thinking the Bills are finally out of their rut after playing Tampa Bay and have that offense going. So I'm thinking that, they're going to put up a lot of points. As far as the lock, I got the Packers over the Ravens. And even if Lamar Jackson plays, Aaron Rodgers is just playing really good ball. Green Bay's playing really good ball. If Lamar Jackson is not playing because he hasn't practiced all week, this could get ugly by the second quarter. So either way, I'm taking the Ravens for my lock pick. And then for my upset pick, I have the Raiders, who are getting 6 over the Browns. Browns offense just hasn't been that good 3 out of the last 4 weeks. The 3 weeks that they were bad, they were like 15 points, 19 points, something like that. Raiders have been putting up 20, 25 points past like 5-6 games. And the Raiders are just overdue for a breakout game, for a good win. And this would be one hell of a way to get a win. So those are my picks. Recapping, blowout pick is my Bills. There's the Bills. Lock is the Packers, and the upset pick is the Raiders. I think that's going to be it for this week. Head over to staytunesports.net to follow our social media accounts over there. So that way you get the links to Stay Tuned Sports podcast truck series Friday nights over on YouTube at 3Y TV. When I do giveaways, all that stuff will be on my social media accounts. Merch tabs up top there on the website. Also head over to buymeacoffee.com/stsports. So that's another way that you could show your support towards the show. And don't forget, we have our Stay Tuned Sports chat line still up and running. 612-STS-CHAT. Tell me what you think about the NCAA banning the rule of fake sliding. Do you agree with me that faking the out of bounds for quarterbacks should be banned as well? So, till next week, this is your good friend Jimbo, signing out.